Guys? Today we're going to be installing the J35 throttle body. I currently have a K-Tune cold air intake. This is my 8th generation Civic SI. Here is the J35. So I bought this brand new. One of the things we got to do is switch out this sensor. The 8th gen doesn't use it. It comes with the throttle body. It's one screw. We swapped that out. So the first step I'm going to do is remove my intake and work on getting this throttle body off. I believe it's 4 bolts, and I got to unclip something down there, I believe. And I'm also going to attempt to port match it with the Dremel and without taking off the intake manifold. We're going to see how that goes. Alright guys, intake is off. So we got 12mm bolts. We got 4 bolts here on the throttle body. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to remove those 4 bolts. We're going to unplug this right here. We got 2 hoses here to unplug, and I believe that's it for the throttle body. This hose on top is actually not in the throttle body, so we don't have to touch that. So 4 bolts, clip, and then these 2 hoses right here. I'm going to remove those. Pull these 2 hoses. You're going to leak some coolant, so be prepared to pull it. Make sure your car isn't hot. Very minimal dripped out of the throttle body itself, but the hoses, I just kind of keep them upright and out of the way. There's the other one. It's up in the air, so it ain't going to spew out. And a little note, that one's a bigger hose. It's got a longer reach, so you know it's the top. This hose is a lot smaller and kind of curves, so you know it's right to the bottom. So I got the bolts out, guys. The 2 on the left were actually bolts right there, top and bottom. The 2 on the other side, that one was a stud. So it's basically just a nut. This was the last hose I was struggling with. This is super tight and corroded, so I had a hard time getting an angle. I'm trying to get a screwdriver in it, but because the manifold's right there, I couldn't get the angle. So what I'm gonna do is, I got everything else off. This is sliding right out, and I'm gonna attempt to get a screwdriver in here. Once I can maneuver this better, I'll be able to get a top angle on it. Guys, so I got the J35 throttle body. This is the old throttle body. Major differences I found on the stock. There's a little clip here that holds some kind of wiring harness, which is not on the J35. Also up top, there is an extra hole right there, which the J35 does not have. I believe it was a ground. I'm not 100% sure. This is the piece I'm talking about. It looks like it's just holding these wires. I don't believe it's a kind of ground, because this is all plastic. I believe it would be connected. I'm guessing it just held these wires in place. Once again, that's sat right here. I didn't see that in any other videos. So that's the 2 comparison. Next step is I'm going to throw this on the studs, and I am going to trace my throttle body. I believe it's only like 1 millimeter bigger than stock, and I'm going to Dremel it out. We'll see what happens. J35, you can't really mess that up because you can see the shape fits the throttle body, so you'll know if it's backwards. I took a Sharpie, kind of wiggled this around. I got some kind of reference. It's not the best. My Sharpie's not really adhering to this aluminum that great, but basically that's my reference right there. So that's how you know the J35 is a little bit bigger, which I believe from what I've seen on other videos, this thermal gasket is actually a little bigger than the J35. So if you Dremel out to this, you should be good. Shouldn't be any interference with your new throttle body when you're taking in air. So now basically this is where I was being lazy. I don't have another car. This is my daily. so I didn't want to do all the work and take out the intake manifold. So I'm going to attempt to stuff a rag in here and use a Dremel. I'm going to use sandpaper, which I saw in another video, which would hopefully take this down nice and easy so I don't get any big shards in the intake, which I know is super dangerous. So I'm going to start to Dremel. I won't be really able to record that process, but we'll see what happens. Alright guys, I finished port matching. J35 is bolted up. Bolts. Don't forget to tighten this piece. If you bought it brand new, you got to take the O-ring off the stock sensor. That's what it comes with. And you're going to put the O-ring in the bottom of here. I found where I thought was a ground. I'm still not sure if it is or isn't, but it actually fits to the J35 right on top of this guy. You got to use the same hole this gets mounted to. That was that bracket. I got the bottom coolant hose in. I got another coolant hose right there. Goes to the bottom. I'm plugged in the wires. I got this hose, or maybe that's a vacuum hose to put in, and we'll go from there. As install is all done. One thing I had an issue with, this stock hose right here. I never replaced this as far as I know. Maybe the previous owner did, but it didn't. It had a really loose fit on this connection right here on top of the J35 throttle body. This was super loose. The stock clip that holds it on didn't do anything. You could tell the fitting was off. I tried to see if I had some spare hoses. I might have to replace this to get a better seal. So for now, I did 2 zip ties. Super tight connection. Let me know in the comments if you guys had this issue as well. I really hope they didn't send me the wrong fitting. This is snug here, but like I said, this slides on and is super loose. Hope I didn't get the wrong fitting. Let me know if anyone had an issue with that. And let's start this up. Let's see what happens. I'm hoping to have no check engine lights, and I'm also hoping the RPMs aren't all crazy. Excuse the mess. So it's a cold start. Car hasn't been started in a couple hours. RPMs look decent. Nothing going crazy up and down. Still warming up. Just above 1.5. Let's check the engine, make sure I got no leaks or coolant spilling. So far, no check engine light, no crazy RPMs at idle. And if you haven't watched my other videos, I currently have a K-Tune cold air intake and a Skunk 2 catback, and I have an E-Tune online using a Flash Pro as the tuner. And I'm gonna probably get a retune, which is gonna be cheaper than the original tune. It should be about 60 bucks because I did the J35 throttle body today, and I did a little port matching. And the only thing I want to say, guys, if you're thinking about installing a J35 and you want to port match it, I highly recommend you don't do it the way I did it. I ended up blocking the intake manifold with some rags, and I didn't really get too many shards in. I ended up cleaning it really well with some brake cleaner, and I got like a moist paper towel, so there was very minimal powder dust that the bit actually made, because once again I used a sandpaper on the Dremel. But back to my point, the engine bay got covered, guys. It's very fine powder that, you know, the aluminum that you're dremeling out. So basically I made a pretty good mess in my engine bay, so that took some time to clean up. And taking care of that. Sorry, I'm at a stop sign here, guys. I'm kind of holding my phone. RPMs did get a little wonky there. So yeah, guys, like I was saying, for me this was my daily, and I was super lazy after I saw how to take out the manifold, which I might get some hate for, but it is what it is. The install is done. Hopefully the car is going to run smooth. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments section. I usually answer pretty fast. And shoot me a like if you like the guy's video. Alright, thank you guys. Enjoy your day.